In this video, I'm going to explain the best camera, lighting, and audio settings to shoot a YouTube video just like this to get you up and running as fast as possible. Whether you are shooting your videos with a camera or a smartphone, I can't stress enough that before you even start worrying about your camera settings, make sure your lighting is set up to get you the best results. The difference a good lighting setup makes versus a bad one is substantial, and no camera or camera settings can adjust for poor lighting. I'm going to give you two easy options to get going. The first of which is if you have the money to buy a light or if you already have one. If you don't yet have a light but have the money to buy one, I recommend picking up something like this Mount Dog light. This Mount Dog light is one that you can get on Amazon, and it's fairly inexpensive, and there's lots of others just like it. A ring light would also do just fine. I'll link a few options down in the description to get you going. Alright, so this Mount Dog light or your ring light or whatever it is that you choose to buy is going to be your key light or your main light. You're going to want to make sure that you're shooting in a dark room where the only light source that you're getting is from your main light. This means closing the blinds or the curtains and turning off the other lights in your environment. This way, you are in total control of the light and you won't have a mix of different types and temperatures of the lights. I like to position my key light at around a 45-degree angle to my camera, so I get this dramatic effect where half of my face is lit and the other half is in shadow. You can also position your light directly in front of you over the camera. This really comes down to personal preference. Both of these lighting setups look fine, and it's really going to come down to which one you think looks best. I'd recommend playing around with a few different lighting setups and see which one that you like best. The next thing you're going to want to do is add some accessory lights or background lights to really add some depth to your shot and to make it more interesting. In my case, I use this little tube light here to add some color to my background and to make it more interesting. I also use the computer monitor as another accessory light to really add some more depth to the shot. There are so many options for adding background and accessory lights to your shots, and this is really your chance to be creative. Really add your spin or your flair to your videos. Okay, so if you don't have a budget to buy a light or you don't already have one, another option to light your videos is to use natural light. For this, find a spot to shoot where you are next to a window. You can position yourself to shoot either facing the window so your entire face is lit, or where the window is lighting your face from the side. Just be sure to not shoot with your back facing the window, otherwise you'll be fully in the shadows. Alright, next up is audio. Just like lighting, audio makes a huge difference in the quality of your videos. Here is what the audio sounds like straight out of the camera with no microphone attached. And here is the audio from my Rode Wireless Go 2 microphone. It's a huge difference, and audio is half the content, so you don't want to neglect this. There are tons of options for audio, from shotgun microphones to lav microphones to these wireless mics. The options are endless. I'll leave a couple links of some of my favorite microphones in the description below, but the important thing is that you actually buy a microphone and you don't just use the one that's built into your camera or your smartphone. If you're using a smartphone like an iPhone to shoot your videos, then you're going to need to either buy one of these little adapters to use an external microphone, or you can buy wireless microphones that plug directly into your phone. If you're just starting out on YouTube, my recommendation for 90% of people would be to just use your smartphone mounted on a tripod like this to shoot your videos. The biggest benefit of shooting with your smartphone is that it's something that you already have and know how to use. Therefore, the barrier to entry is just a lot less. Now, if you already have a camera and know how to use it, then feel free to use that. But if you don't know how to use a camera and you don't want to go out and buy one and learn how to use it, then just use your smartphone. You're always going to have the option later to upgrade to a more professional camera, but the main thing, especially when you're starting out, is just to put content out there and to get those repetitions in. In terms of video settings for shooting with your smartphone, make sure that you're shooting in the highest quality that you possibly can for your phone. Most modern phones these days shoot in 4K, so I would recommend setting your phone up to shoot in 4K. If you're shooting tutorials or talking head videos like this one, then I'd recommend changing your frames per second to be 24 frames per second. This is sort of the standard in filmmaking, and it results in the most cinematic looking or the smoothest looking image. Just an example of what you can get out of your smartphone with the Mount Dog light setup I recommended. This shot you're watching right now was shot on an iPhone 11. This is a 3-year-old phone, and in my opinion, the footage still looks pretty good. Granted, you don't get the same background separation as you do with a professional camera, but it still looks fine. This is straight out of the camera with the basic camera app that the phone came with. Here's with some color adjustments made, not too bad. Here's side by side with my Sony a7 IV footage. Obviously the Sony looks better, but the Sony setup is nearly $5,000, and this 3-year-old phone you can probably get for $500. If you want to go even further with iPhone video, you could even download third-party apps like Moment, which allow you to change other settings in the camera and even shoot in log profile. If you don't know what a log profile is, essentially shooting in log allows you the most amount of flexibility later on when it comes to color correcting and color grading your footage. Shooting videos in log is very similar to shooting raw format photos, in that you have a lot more flexibility and freedom to really adjust later on in post-production. This is obviously a little more advanced and you don't have to do this, but just know that it's there, and if you want to do it, you have the option to. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. If you're interested in the part 2, going through what it would look like to edit footage like this, then leave a comment down below. As always, if you found this useful, then be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. And I will see you in the next video.